An item from the Department of Finance, Resolution 0030-2023. And with that, I'll turn it over to the administration. I don't know if there's a presentation or discussion.
Good evening.
Yep.
The item on is a resolution accepting and authorizing and certifying the city's property tax amounts and rates. So each July, the city of Gahanna files its tax budget with the county. After that is filed, the Franklin County Budget Commission then sends each local subdivision a resolution that must be passed by October 1st, accepting the amounts and rates for real estate taxes. The city of Gahanna is in receipt of this resolution from the Budget Commission. This resolution authorizes the city's tax levies as necessary and certifies the levies to the Franklin County Auditor. In summary, this resolution sets the distribution of the city's 2.4 mills between the general fund, the bond retirement fund, and the police pension fund, and the amount of the estimated property tax revenue for the upcoming year distributed amongst each of those funds. Consistent with the Ohio Revised Code, we're respectfully requesting a resolution to authorize the amounts and rates as determined by the Franklin County Budget Commission, authorizing the tax levies as necessary and certifying them to the county auditor. Per Ohio Revised Code, this resolution must be filed by October 1st with the county auditor to complete the certification process on behalf of the city.
Anything further, Director?
No.
All right.
Sorry, I do. The attached to the agenda are the tax rates and amounts to correspond to the resolution.
Thank you very much. Anything from council on this particular item?
No, sir.
Any issues or qualms with just moving this to the regular agenda?
No, sir.
All right, no need to come back. All right. I believe this technically begins budget season, does it not?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
How exciting.
You genuinely look happy, Miranda.
Yes. I had a first meeting today. Thrilled. Catch me on Friday. Check back in then.
She was just commenting on how her week is full of meetings,
Yes, I
and
was.
we're all very excited.
And I drank a lot of caffeine this afternoon.
Oh,
so,
that would,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Nothing further from the administration and nothing further from council. We will see this on the regular agenda in about, I guess, 28 minutes. Mr. Van Meter, you have all that?
Yes.
Okay, well, thus concludes finance.
As we gather, we are grateful for, appreciate, and use each day that comes before us. For each day's duties and for each day's difficulties, we are challenged to give our best always in service to one another and to our community. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Jeremy, please call a roll.
Angelo,
Here.
Bowers,
Here.
McGregor,
Here.
Padova,
Here.
Renner,
Here.
Schnetzer, Weaver.
Here.
There's a reverb going on or something. Okay, thank you. Item B, additions or corrections to agenda. Do we have anything? Moving on, hearing of visitors. We do have a proclamation by our mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President, appreciate it. With me today are Kelly and Roland Day. This is the fourth year in a row where I've issued a proclamation for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, which is the month of September. And Kelly and I were talking earlier about the fact that everybody talks about breast cancer being, October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We talk about pelotonia, we talk about a lot of cancers, but we very rarely talk about childhood cancers. Some startling statistics in here that 46 children per day are diagnosed with cancer in the United States. That's 46 too many. The average age is 6, which our friend Roland here actually was 6 when he was diagnosed as well. It's the childhood, disease-related cancers is the leading cause of death in children in the United States, and there are at least 12 different kinds of cancers affecting children today with 100 plus subtypes of that. And it is really, I think, a disease that is not often talked about and very underfunded on a national level. So the whole point of having Childhood Cancer Awareness Month is to raise awareness around what our children are suffering, because it's just not talked about. And we talked a little bit too about the fact that we've had families in here from Gahanna before, and our survivors and our warriors, they're always so strong. And I always hear the same words from the families that they never complain. It's everybody around them is, but the children who have fought this insidious disease never complain. They lift everybody else up around them. It is a disease that has been in our family. I've had a nephew who had a childhood cancer as well. He's in his 30s now and doing really well, but I remember our family going through that. And I have a very good family friend that I went to college with who just lost their daughter at the age of 18. So you hear wonderful stories, sometimes you hear not so wonderful stories, but we're here today to celebrate a success story. So I do have a proclamation to present to Kelly and Roland Day for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. We want to congratulate Roland on being such a strong warrior and for setting such a fine example, and encourage all of our residents to, again, raise awareness around this disease so that we can all fight it together. So thank you for being here. Let me congratulate you. Thank you. Roland? Thank you. And you want to say a few words, Kelly? Here.
I appreciate everyone taking the time to listen, to our story and for Kid Cancer Month. Roland was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney cancer 2 years ago. He had 9 months of really aggressive treatments, but he's been considered, cancer-free for a year and a half now, almost a year and a half. So he'll continue to have scans, but most kids, like 95% of kids, will still have chronic medical issues their entire life if they survive. But luckily, we're a success story. But we just feel the responsibility to speak for those who can't. So we would love if everybody, just like linked gold with September and Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Thank you.
Stand there and face this way. We'll get our council in the back.
All right, thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any hearing of visitors besides the video?
No other slips. No.
Okay, so with much further ado, we do have a video. Somebody is using our constituent, instead of using coming in person, somebody's using our virtual comments. So you want to go ahead and cue it up? This is from Ms. Morgan Harper.
Hi, my name is Morgan Harper. I live at 139 East Main Street, number 303, Columbus, Ohio, 43215. And I'm speaking on the hearing of visitors agenda item. And I just wanted to call attention for the council about electricity prices. So I'm co-founder of a local grassroots organization called Columbus Stand Up. We are part of a coalition called Stop AEP Rate Hikes that formed this spring in reaction to the latest request from AEP to increase electricity prices. In the spring, a lot of the media coverage was about AEP's increases based on auction prices that they got in the market in June. Those price increases affected communities in Central Ohio that have not implemented community aggregation. Our understanding as a coalition is that Gahanna is one of those communities that has not implemented community aggregation. So likely Gahanna residents saw increases in June of around 30% to their electricity bills. After that increase was announced and went into effect, AEP separately has been advancing their latest electric security plan that requests to increase rates in 2024 by about 14%. And the coalition was started because we think enough is enough. We have a lot of residents throughout Central Ohio who have been facing increased prices through inflation across the board. But especially in this area of electricity, and especially in communities like Gahanna, where community aggregation hasn't been implemented, these price increases are really going to hurt folks' bottom lines, both consumers and small business owners. And so we have launched a petition at stopaeprate.com that anyone can sign. We delivered the first batch of those petition signers to AEP headquarters a couple of weeks ago, letting folks know that the community is saying, no, we don't want to see any more electricity price rate increases. We need to be able to have more transparency around what this money is going towards and give people a little bit of relief with these high prices. And so it's now being publicly reported that AEP has potentially reached a settlement with the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio, that's the state regulator. There will be another evidentiary hearing on October 10th about this issue. But in the meantime, we need to make sure that we are doing whatever we can to let the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio know. And I think it might be something for Gahanna City Council to look into on behalf of your constituents about just how much electricity prices have increased and what the PUCO can do to stop further rate hikes and make sure that we're fulfilling the public purpose of AEP, which is to keep our utilities and electricity affordable. So please feel free to reach out to anyone in the coalition at stopaepratehikes.com with any other questions, or to me directly, morgan@morganharper.org.
Okay, thank you. Item D, consent agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda as published?
So moved.
I have a first by Ms. Bowers, a second by Mr. Snutzer. Any comment? Any discussion? Okay, Jeremy, please call a roll.
Bowers,
Yes.
Schnetzer. Yes. McGregor,
Yes.
Padova,
Yes.
Renner,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Angelou.
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. Item E, resolutions. We do have one. This was discussed at our finance meeting at 6:30 today. Resolution 30-2023, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. Do I have a motion to pass this resolution?
So moved.
Have a first by Mr. Snetzer. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Ms. Bowers. Any discussion? Okay, Jeremy, please call a roll.
Schnetzer,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
McGregor,
Yes.
Padova,
Yes.
Renner,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Angelou.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Thank you. Resolution 31-2023, a resolution celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month in the city of Gahanna, September 15 through October 15, 2023. Do I have a first to adopt this resolution?
First.
I have a first by Ms. Bowers. Do I have a second? Have a second by Ms. Padova. Any discussion?
Yeah, I had a couple of notes, and I just wanted to thank Council President for including this resolution on tonight's agenda. I realized that this September 15th started a special month recognizing and celebrating Hispanic and Latin culture. I reached out to one of our former residents, Meredith Mendoza, to get some of her feedback on this, and she shared some thoughts that I wanted to share tonight, in addition to what you see in the resolution. Meredith shared that she calls on us to participate in events and activities that honor and expand our knowledge of Hispanic and Latin culture, including diverse cultures, languages, art, music, cuisine, and the history of the Hispanic and Latin communities. And that we hope that this resolution promotes cultural awareness and understanding that fosters unity among residents by supporting the well-being of all. The other thing that I realized in researching a little bit about this resolution and our Hispanic community is that the Ohio Hispanic Coalition has a presence here in Gahanna. They have a cultural and education center east site at 220 West Johnstown Road. And the Ohio Hispanic Coalition is a nonprofit organization that works to promote the advancement of the Hispanic community in Ohio. The coalition is dedicated to providing access to resources and advocating for the rights of Hispanic residents in the state, and they strive to improve the quality of life of Hispanic residents by providing educational programs, language access, community outreach, and legal services. People can learn more about the Ohio Hispanic Coalition by going to their website, ohiohispaniccoalition.org. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
We have, one of my children is married to a man from Puerto Rico, my daughter Abby. So we have 4 grandchildren that have Puerto Rican ancestry. And this weekend, Alex turned 15. The girls had a quinceañera a couple years ago. And so Alex had, I don't know if it's an actual word, but they just call it a quinceañero. And so his, Francisco's cousins from Boston came in to DJ, and his mom flew in from Puerto Rico to make the biggest cauldron of rice and beans I've ever seen. So we celebrated our own Hispanic tradition this weekend. And so it's good to have a family of multicultural people in our family. So thank you for the resolution.
Very cool. Any other discussion? All right, Jeremy, please call the roll.
Bowers,
Yes.
Padova,
Yes.
Renner,
Yes.
Schnetzer,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Angelou,
Yes.
McGregor.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Item F, correspondence and actions. Mr. Clerk, do we have anything?
Nothing this evening.
Thank you, sir. My council colleagues, do we have anything to share? Okay, thank you. Item G, representatives, Community Improvement Corporation. Mr. Weaver, do you have anything for us?
Just a quick update that our regular monthly meeting has been postponed from tomorrow until next week, Tuesday, September 25th at 8 a.m. in the committee room.
Thank you, sir. Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, Ms. Angelou.
Thank you. We had a lot of things happening on last Thursday, so I'm going to I put a lot of it, and Jeremy was able to put it on into our group things that we have in front of us. But I'm going to go as fast as I can on most of these. The first thing was that of course, we lost our chair. Eric Janis moved to Cleveland. I was born there, so I can understand why he moved. Anyway, and so Chris Amoros Grooms now is the acting chair. And then we also had Michelle Crandall move to the vice chair. And then Ben Kessler, that's the mayor from Bexley, will be the secretary at this point. So that was the first thing that we did at there. And I'm going to tell you a couple of the things that we passed. Resolutions amending the state fiscal year 2024 to 2027 Transportation Improvement Program, and then the adopting the 2024 Technical Assistance Program Guide, and then also accepting the Planning Work Program Completion Report for state fiscal year 2003. Another one was establishing priorities for Central Ohio candidate projects committed in 2023 for track funding. Another one, Metropolitan Transportation Plan Update, Maria Shaper did adopting the 2050 forecast household and employment variables. So those were all things that went through. There were a lot of other things, though, that were kind of interesting. The Secretary of Energy, Jennifer Granholm, that's at the federal point, came to Columbus and looked at our weatherization things that were being done by MORPC, Robert Williams, I'm sorry. And she went out with them to one of the weatherization programs that had been completed. And it was just really a wonderful little we just got to see it on a thing. So that was wonderful to have her there. She was not there then, but to come here to see that was quite interesting. The Economic Development District improvement increases likely for grants by ×4. So that's going to bring a lot of potential ideas for us to think about for grants. We also have a new economic development director and a region innovation officer. Those were two new people that were going to be there. And we want to talk about passenger rail. Next steps, if we get the green light on passenger rail, will be to have Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, and Dayton. It's the CCCD, and potentially becoming passenger rail. We also, I think it was the state of Ohio now, has $100 million available for rail safety. So that's a really an interesting one too, because there's so much work that needs to be done on the safety parts of that. We have also the Columbus Regional Coalition is coming here on October 10th through 12th, and that coming to the Columbus Regional Coalition is Washington, D.C. staff. So that's going to be a really interesting thing, and I'm kind of looking forward to going to that. And then we have Inspire, the Summit on Sustainability in 2023. Of which our Mayor Jadwin is a part of, and that is be on October 26th. With that, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Padova, Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Thank you. This Wednesday is the midweek at the Creek. The rescheduled performance of Honey and Blue will be taking place on the back plaza this Wednesday from 6 to 8. It will also be at the same time as the new Creekside Cornhole League. So you can come stop by and hear Honey and Blue and also check out some cornhole. The Herb Center is offering multiple classes in the month of October, including herbal technique, syrups and honey, growing vegetables into the winter with season extension techniques, herbal technique, powders and pastes, and herb craft, dream pillows, and sacred smoke. So you can visit the ohioherbcenter.org for more information and to register for those classes. And this is pretty cool that the Ohio Herb Center is partnering with the Graduate Hotel in downtown Columbus to offer some herbal tea tastings to their guests. So hopefully they will have some tea and want to come out and visit Gahanna as well. And that's all for me.
Thank you. School Board, Ms. Bowers.
Thank you. Just very briefly tonight, I wanted to let everyone know about the Safe School Helpline. that is available for students and parents. The Safe School Helpline is a convenient, confidential way for anyone to report information about situations that might affect affect safety throughout Gahanna Jefferson schools. People can call the number any time of day or night to report concerns about unsafe or potentially disruptive activities or situations that might include things like drug or alcohol abuse, weapons, harassment, bullying, or threats. All calls are confidential. You can also make an online report, private, confidential, and anonymous tip online by going to gahannaschools.org/safe-school-helpline. And the text line is 614-426-0240, and just type tips when you're texting that number. I thought that was an important thing to note for our community at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item H, official reports. Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Just want to, first of all, about an hour or so before, 2 hours before council, we celebrated the ribbon cutting of Grin's new facility, which is 2 doors down from where they previously were. It's in the former Glow Putt location. Glow Putt has moved over to Royal Plaza on the west side. But the Grin facility, it really is a bittersweet moment. It's wonderful that they have such an incredible space to serve our community and be able to expand how they are able to support those in most need within the community. But it's obviously bittersweet that we have that need that continues to increase. But congratulate Brenda Johnston, Beth Bentley, their staff at Grin, as well as their board members, the volunteers, and all of the donors. One of the things we talked about is the fact that every time Grin posts a need, the community immediately seems to fill it. So we appreciate our community's embrace, the way they embrace Grin and their support of the people in our community. Yesterday was also the Kyle Miller 5K, which is run by Eric Miller and his family in honor of his son who passed away from cancer. And I know this year, Eric and his family donated 350 gift cards for shoes to families of Grin, and are looking to increase that next year with their work yesterday. So just some phenomenal work that's happening within our community to support our neighbors. Thank you. Speaking of supporting our neighbors, thanks to all of those who attended Creekside Hops and Vines this weekend, different kind of support. But it was a fantastic event. I think they had about 875 tickets that were sold, which was really just a great number. You weren't tripping over people, there was little room to move around. Heard from a lot of people that they had never been to that event before, and they can't wait to come back. But as we know, that event is put on by our Parks and Recs Foundation, which is the separate 501c3 event that supports the initiatives of our Parks and Recs department. The money that they raised over the weekend, I was going to say last night, feels like last night, it was Saturday night, will support camp scholarships, programs, community events, things that our Parks and Recs department does all year long. So we very much appreciate the work of the board members for all of their efforts in organizing a fantastic event. Coming up this Sunday is the Mill Street Market. I imagine perhaps Councilwoman McGregor will speak to that as well, but just want to share that we will have several department members and representatives at the city booth at the flea market this Sunday, available to engage with residents, talk with them, answer concerns. Our planning department also will have its own booth, not because they want to be separate, but because for the last year and a half, as we've talked a lot about, we've been working on a rewriting of our zoning code. So our planning department will be in a booth on Sunday with the opportunity, first of many opportunities for the public to engage and to have their voices heard and help guide the Gahanna of the future. So we invite and encourage residents to stop by that booth, offer their input. Again, first of several opportunities for public engagement, public input coming up, but that event runs Sunday from 9 to 4. Going back to Parks and Recreation, I want to say that we are thrilled to share that we've been awarded a $20,000 grant from the National Parks and Recreation Association that will allow us to construct a human sundial at Sunpoint Park, which is a really cool thing. It's a refresh grant, which are available only to agencies who previously have been awarded dollars through the National Parks and Recreation Association. That was in partnership with Niagara Bottling. We qualified, if you remember back in 2018, We received a grant for the construction of some basketball courts at Sun Point Park. One of the new grant requirements is that it has to be in the same area where the previous grant was issued. So we expect the total cost of that project to be $25,000. So we have a gap of about $5,000, but we're thinking this is a really wonderful opportunity for an Eagle Scout project. There's a lot of science behind sundials, so I think there's some opportunities for partnership within the community to help us complete that project, but very excited about that grant. Wanted to address something it's appeared on social media. Just in the last few weeks, residents may have noticed a change in their water bill due dates. And we have changed that. Recently, we were hearing a lot of concerns, as we all, I think, have talked even here. There's some challenges around mail delivery, delays in mail delivery. It certainly has impacted some of our communications around the street program this summer. And what we noticed is that residents were, by the time they got their bills, there was a very short period of time for them to have to pay the bills. So we talked with our utility billing department, asked them to look into what we can do with that, what opportunities we have to correct that problem. So now we have implemented a change to ensure that residents will always have at least 30 days to pay their bill. So if your bill's issued on September 10th, you will have until October 10th to pay it, not until the end of the month, which is how it was working. So by allowing the additional days with the payment window, we also expect the number of disconnects to go down. We actually reduced that by at least 50%, if not more. And it will also ensure that, again, our residents have a little bit more accountability from us in terms of when they can expect to receive their bills and that they can plan. Gives them a little bit of latitude and making sure that they have some breathing room when they're paying their bills. And we're not so reliant upon running to the mailbox to make sure the mail's there. So if you see any questions about that, please direct them to our utility billing division. Also, Mr. Schultz, Director Schultz is available to answer questions as well, but we do have a customer service manager down there who's a supervisor who is more than willing to talk to our residents and help walk them through. It is a good thing for them. It's giving them more time to pay. Lastly, just a couple things with regard to our police department. Wanted to share that members of our Gahanna Division of Police serve on the Central Ohio Drug Task Force team. That task force team focuses on bulk smuggling, distribution of dangerous narcotics, such as fentanyl, which impacts our community on almost a daily basis. Just this past weekend, it unfortunately took the life of a 21-year-old Gahanna resident. The task force consists of investigators from not only Gahanna, but Columbus, Madison County Sheriff's Office, the State Highway Patrol, BCI, Homeland Security, and the IRS. And we are proud to share that the task force team has been chosen as a 2023 recipient of the Ohio Distinguished Law Enforcement Group Achievement Award by the Ohio Attorney General's Office. And that award is in recognition of our division's joint investigative efforts as part of the High-Intensity Drug Trafficking Area Task Force. They like very long names, but they do very important work. And that task force will be acknowledged during a luncheon later in October. I believe Chief Spence will be attending that with the Attorney General. So very proud of them for their work. And finally, speaking of the Department of Police, if you visit their Facebook page, you are not too late to cast a vote for Light Ohio Blue Photo Contest. Upper Arlington is currently in the lead. We want to win because we're competitive. So please visit the Gahanna PD's Facebook page, cast your vote for our Division of Police so that we can bring them home a victory as well. And you can find that again on the Gahanna Division of Police Facebook page. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, President Renner. I have nothing to add.
All right, thank you. Council comment, item I, Ms. Angelou.
Well, I don't think I have much to say. I'll let everybody else talk tonight.
All right, thank you. Ms. McGregor?
Just to tag on what the mayor said, the Mill Street Market by the Gahanna Historical Society will be Sunday, 9 to 4, and I think we have 120 spaces rented, as last I heard, so it's more than last year, so we're looking for good weather and a great day.
All right, thank you. Ms. Bowers?
Yes, Thank you. Thanks to the mayor for pointing out that September is also Hunger Action Month. It was certainly appropriate considering we were at the ribbon cutting for the new Grin facility earlier this afternoon. Congratulations to Grin, and it is unfortunately bittersweet to have the need that's driving the larger facility, but certainly wonderful to see the kind of support that and outpouring from the community to ensure that that need is filled. Also, September is National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Last month, a number of folks, including myself from the city, were at a panel hosted by the Weinike Alston Foundation with a panel of experts about the needs for students, veterans, and first responders. And I have to tell you all, I'm very proud to be part of this community where we take seriously the mental health needs of all three of these groups in particular, but also the mental health needs of our community as a whole. As a reminder, the newer crisis hotline number nationally is 988. So just a reminder that 988 is a national hotline for that. Thank you and congratulations to the Kyle Miller First Day Foundation for their success on fundraising. It was a wonderful event on Sunday and perfect weather. The mayor mentioned being a little competitive. Well, I'm proud to say that Amy Edgar and I came in second place in an untimed race out of 3 total runners. That is the highest I have ever placed in a race. So it was a whole lot of fun and a lot of people out walking to support that event. I'm looking forward to attending the quintessentially Gahanna event, the Mill Street Market on Sunday, and I look forward to meeting vendors, community organizations, and mingling with our neighbors. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Padova.
I just want to echo the sentiments. Congratulations to Grin on their grand opening tonight. I know that this has been a long process for them to find a space, move, raise the money that they needed to get there, and then to see it with everything that they dreamed about having. Right, as a nonprofit, you have like the things that you hope that you can get, and then maybe you might not be able to raise that much funds. But to me, it looked like everything on the dream wish list was there, and so thank you to our community for stepping up and helping get those things. Brenda mentioned tonight that there were a lot of times where we would have to refuse some donations because we just didn't have the space, and especially in the freezer and the coolers. So I know that they are going to be able to help a lot more people and give them a lot more things that they need with the walk-in coolers that they have now. And they also, I think this is worth mentioning, that not only do they help the residents in Gahanna, but all of the food pantries in Central Ohio work very closely together. When there was donations that were too big for us, the first thing that Beth and Brenda always did was try to find other pantries that could, if we could only we had a huge semi full of milk one day, and we could only take so many because we only had so much refrigerator space, but they called all these other pantries, and people came in their trucks and were unloading this semi, loading milk into trucks for other pantries. And so they really do not just help our community, but any others that they can help as well. So I'm really glad to see them in the new space that will function so much better for them, for the clients, and also for the volunteers as well. So I'm very excited to go back and volunteer in their new space, and I encourage everybody to try to go and volunteer there as well because it is very fulfilling. That's all for me.
Thank you. Mr. Snutzer.
Nothing to add this evening, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Weaver?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just very briefly, want to echo my colleagues' comments. Also want to thank Kelly and Roland for joining us this evening in recognition of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. As the mayor indicated, it's an issue that touches many families and has touched my own. I never had the opportunity to meet my sister-in-law due to her passing at a young age. Also want to thank Ms. Bowers for her work on the Hispanic Heritage Month, and congratulations to Grin, and that is it for me this evening. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Only a couple of comments. If you are concerned about electricity rates, you can actually go to AEP Energy, and I'm looking up a real time. You can lock in 6.99 as your electrical rate, and the most competitive is 6.39 cents a kilowatt hour. So there's that. Also, this Saturday is the first day of fall, and just celebrate that. That's all I got. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you.